It's just not nice when the sun shines.
Yeah, but you know what I'd really wish for? If manufacturers would just release a plug-in hybrid that somehow also had an electric range of like 100, 130, 150 kilometers, and not this half-hearted attempt with a combustion engine and just a bit of battery.
We do, though.
What then?
If you just walk 10 meters straight ahead, then you'll see one from Great Wall Motors.
Yes, the brand new and advanced WEY 05 model. And there, Great Wall Motors does so many things exceptionally well in terms of plug-in hybrids, in my view, that it could be highly super interesting for you to learn more extensively about this particular car. Today, in the classic review with a driving report, and then in the second part, we'll naturally conduct the test to see if it really achieves the factory claim of 158 kilometers of purely electric range. And in the third video, we want to explore whether it's also efficient on long distances when operating in hybrid mode, meaning with the combustion engine and electric assistance. I would honestly say let's not waste any of our precious time and enthusiastically kick off with the unveiling of the brand new Great Wall Motors WEY 05. Before we get started, I have two quick requests for you. First, please check if you're part of the plug-in electric community. If not, then we'd like to have your subscription support. And then you won't miss out on future videos either. And the second request is, we've launched a second channel, Simply Electric, on YouTube. And there you have the unique opportunity through our partnership with Dupli.ai to also watch the videos in English. I've put the link to the second channel in the video description for you. I'd be thrilled if you could support us there with a subscription too. Now, it is finally starting with the model WEY 05 by Great Wall Motors. And as always, we begin from the outside, starting right from the front. Take a good look at the front of the WEY 05. The WEY 05 originates from China. Great Wall Motors, indeed, is one of the larger car manufacturers located there, which has also been exporting vehicles on a significant scale since 1997. And now, quite freshly with the WEY 05 model, it makes its entrance into our European market. There's a 5-year warranty on the entire car with no mileage limit, and an 8-year warranty on the battery with its nearly 40 kilowatt hours gross. And there, WEY has, in my opinion, treated itself to a very, very European front end. It doesn't really even look like a Chinese car, does it? The WEY 05 could theoretically maybe originate from Mercedes, Audi or BMW design. And I have to say, it fits the picture very, very well. We've got nice daytime running lights here within the silhouette, and we even possess advanced LED headlights that are ingeniously designed to dim and adjust certain specific areas on the road accordingly, ensuring optimal visibility. Yes, it comes standard on big, chunky tires. There are also just two display variants: Premium and Luxury. And if my memory serves me accurately well, it invariably sports those nice big chunky 21-inch wheels. That looks pretty sleek. It suits him well, especially in that glossy black and semi-gloss finish. The sweater does have a modern look to it. We've got retractable door handles which kind of fit the times. And we've got it here in a very, very beautiful white pearl effect. That really does look quite good. The only thing that might just slightly deter me is the chrome. I would have enjoyed having the option of a night package similar to a chrome delete. That would indeed be quite an amazing and innovative feature. And as we make the transition to the rear, we've got this very nice, aesthetically pleasing coupe-like silhouette that truly stands out. That's quite fashionable and very trendy in the SUV sector at the moment, and particularly if we take a closer, more detailed look at the rear part, we will see a uniquely and distinctly European design that isn't overly ornate or excessively decorated. You're familiar with it from Korean manufacturers, where the lights were separated or they succeeded in keeping everything quite simple at WEY, yet still modern and contemporary, I believe, with beautiful, efficient LED taillights and a notably conservative, timeless, classic design, which I strongly believe might very well appeal to nearly every man and perhaps every woman too, across a wide variety of tastes and preferences. And now, we're not bringing any sort of unique or Asian design innovation over to Europe, actually. It's exactly 487 meters long and has such a really very nice wide stance. You've definitely seen it, so like a very typical SUV design, actually. It's 1.69 meters tall, 1.96 meters wide, plus the side mirrors, and the wheelbase is 2.91 meters. By the way, it's powered by 3 engines, more on that in detail later, with a total output of 476 horsepower, accelerating from 0 to 100 in 5 seconds. We're planning to conduct a test on that later, and also a top speed of 230 km/h is expected. Let us begin with exploring the electric engines, shall we? One is actively powering the front axle indeed. This also distinguishes it from many plug-in hybrids, which basically have the electric motor positioned between the engine and the transmission, driving the gearbox as well as the vehicle. Here we have an electric motor that exclusively drives the front axle with 120 kilowatt, 163 HP. Here we have another electric motor located at the rear on the rear axle, providing 135 kW. It delivers a rather powerful 184 horsepower plus a battery pack with a gross of 39.67 kilowatts and a net usable of 33.71 kilowatts capacity. It is charged on the passenger side not just with the Type 2 connector 3-phase AC 11 kilovolts, but also optionally on long journeys with direct current up to 50 kilodowels at peak performance. Therefore, we can go from 0 to 100% battery capacity in roughly about 45 minutes. We will certainly give that a try when we methodically explore the electric car's range, which is said to be up to an impressive 158 kilometers in length. Today, I specifically mentioned 3 distinct powerful motors. The third option, conveniently located under the vehicle's hood, is a robust 4-cylinder, 2 liters, 150 kilowatt, generating 204 horsepower, and is turbocharged for enhanced performance, so that in the end, we can ultimately achieve the described system power of exactly 476 horsepower. And of course, we would really like to hear what such a beautifully designed front hood sounds like, wouldn't we?
3, 2, 1.
Ah, completely full indeed. The Model WEY 05 starts at just over 59,000 euros in Germany for the premium class trim, which is already excellently and opulently equipped. However, I would also strongly recommend considering the luxury trim option. That is roughly estimated at a starting price of about 63,000 euros, where essentially nearly everything you could wish for is included, except for the metallic paint color, including a panoramic glass sunroof, fine Alcantara seats, reverse assist, and so on. Take a moment to explore and see what's available on WEY's homepage. For many individuals, the trunk space is considered to be significantly more important than the front hood area. In the innovative Model WEY 05 design, it opens up electrically and effortlessly, revealing a generous and spacious 500 liters of volume space for use. That's quite decent already, isn't it?
For a start, that's definitely not bad at all.
You can also lift the loading floor here, but there's really only space for the tire mobility set, the warning triangle, and of course, a little bit of loading equipment, or the first aid kit, respectively. We always have the Type 2 charging cable with us as well. That's pivotal because we aim to fully utilize the extensive 158 miles of electric range available to us. There's a bit of a noticeable compromise here because of the coupe-like design, otherwise it would be well over 500 liters. And what it also has, nicely spring-loaded, which we genuinely love and appreciate, is the capability to fold down precisely 40% of the passenger side accordingly. That's already very, very good. We also have the option here, once again, to reallocate the 20% in the middle, alone independently, so to speak, as a pass-through, so that now together we have reallocated 60% and preloaded on the driver's side, then the remaining 40%, so that we are able to significantly boost the cargo volume from 500 liters to an impressive 12.29 liters. And that surely fits quite perfectly well into the dedicated Brothers large fridge-freezer combo, does it not?
Plus a small dishwasher.
Because this time, not the mother-in-law we had her last time, I believe, and something that opens electrically.
Closes electrically.
That's precisely how it's supposed to be, really. Included as a standard feature is this roof rail in a silver color. We have the possibility to add a roof rack, as far as I'm aware. Please correct me if my analysis is incorrect, capable of holding a roof load of up to 75 kilograms. And in addition, we also have the unique option to include a high-quality tow bar, which can efficiently tow up to 750 kilos unbraked and 2 tons when it is braked effortlessly. This is absolutely crucial. It can handle 2 tons. Why, you might ask? Because it efficiently handles a horse trailer, easily connects to a sports boat, and without any shadow of doubt, it confidently pulls a caravan as well. So, to our Dutch friends, this might indeed represent a compromise between the world of combustion engines and the world of electric, because we can surely operate on electric in our daily lives, but then, when heading to Lake Garda and other beautiful places, on lengthy distances, we always have the choice of selecting hybrid mode, which I personally believe offers a nice compromise. Let me know in your comments how you perceive this mixture of high performance and plug-in hybrid technology. And from the exterior, we eagerly want to examine how the windows have been designed, which here, in the luxury class with double glazing and 2 panels bonded by a film, is truly brilliant. We are keen to proceed to see how WEY has thoughtfully designed the door panels, and I must say for me this really sets a definite standard. Firstly, it's somewhat softly padded, appears visually similar to faux leather, but I am convinced it's actually plastic with this subtly hinted texture, which I personally find quite appealing. Then, regarding this metallic surface, it not only looks metallic but indeed feels slightly metal-like then. With fine diamond cutting and a door handle, as well as the Infinity sound system, which is also included in the luxury package. What I find most remarkable here is this badge quilting pattern then in the door panel made of Alcantara. That's luxury too, for we have Alcantara seats. I'll show them shortly. And we've got a nice underlay here then with some faux leather and a stitching, also made of very, very high quality materials, and in certain parts much, much better than even our German premium vehicles. We really have to be quite honest about this matter. Down here though, it interestingly transitions into hard plastic once again. I believe though it's okay to make that compromise, but inside here we have something like a small plastic insert. But that's merely a visual deceit. It actually is hard plastic. I would have wished for, perhaps just a little bit of carpeting or maybe some rubber on there so that it doesn't produce such a rustling and rattling noise when we've got things in it, and perhaps drive over cobblestones or uneven roads. Progressing to the dashboard, I must say the team at WEY has really outdone themselves by coming up with a very attractive and nice design. For one, we have a very flat surface here again with this plastic and the imitation seam. It looks chic, it's soft, foam-backed, and then on the driver's side, the head-up display in the luxury version also comes with augmented reality on board. Then, right here, we have a slightly smaller, more subdued, yet still quite generous and comprehensive driver information display, where you get all the essential information, and then again, really, really nicely, a multi-function steering wheel with haptic buttons, but with a layer of plastic behind them, which works very well in practice. Very well then, also, this particular two-spoke design, it isn't a 3- or 4-spoke design, feels very nicely grippy and high quality as well. Yes, indeed, the absolute highlight here is the impressively large central information display, which, among a number of other various interesting things, cleverly conceals the advanced navigation system, providing a sleek and uncluttered look, where you additionally have several different options available to you for integrating more external systems, such as Deezer and Reuters, into the platform. And you also have, as a standard feature, Apple CarPlay and, as far as I can tell with certainty, Android Auto on board right alongside it. But you see, I simply can't test that, as I unfortunately do not own an Android phone at all. That's all been done very well, actually. By the way, a new, quite significant software update is waiting just for you. It's scheduled to begin its gradual rollout starting from mid to late April, and then the very first smaller bugs as well, too. So if you ever happen to notice anything at all in this video that doesn't seem to work right away, please, could you give WEY just a brief little moment? Lovely tactile air vents. And then right here, we have a central climate control unit where you can also effortlessly control both the seat heating and seat ventilation features on the luxury model. You also have massage seats on board in the luxury class, which I find truly worthy of an effective and rejuvenating massage with various comprehensive programs. And you can also, through such a simple two-finger operation, manage to operate it very, very nicely if by any chance it would actually work. Normally that works. Why doesn't it want to today, Stefan? There it is after all. Today, it's a bit slower. You can adjust the temperature with 2 fingers, and you can also increase or decrease the ventilation with a sideways motion. And I think that's brilliantly done because as you drive, you can easily control it without getting distracted. Here we have what appears to be a piano lacquer finish, but it's actually not, since it transitions into a silver relief with a certain pressure. It looks quite nice and seems high quality, I think, when seen in nature, coming with 2 handy cup holders, where you then also have the option to use coffee cups or bottles accordingly. The typical gear selector, electronic parking brake, and the auto hold feature. Here, we have yet another innovative surface on which you can conveniently and wirelessly charge your smartphone effortlessly. Plus, a very nice large storage compartment that goes deep down. You'll be surprised in just a moment from the side what all is hidden inside this center console. And you can open it from one side or from both sides. Always handy, right? When I am driving and Stefan has to retrieve something from the storage compartment, it's not always necessary for you to lift your arm high. Yes, last but not least, we have, of course, on board in the luxury version, this huge, beautiful panoramic glass sunroof. We have a black headliner, which fits very, very well with the dark brown of the interior. And please take a look at how far back it opens, right above the heads of those who are comfortably seated in the back seats. Now, this is truly a marvelously designed roof that is very much worthy of its name, and what you can wonderfully and very extensively open up here is quite exceptional and offers a splendid view of the sky. So, I really must say, the innovative folks at WEY have clearly and thoughtfully considered this specific car holistically, not just brought any random vehicle over to the markets of Europe. Looking through the passenger door, the question also arises, where can Olli place his man bag? And once again, he is quite unusually a plug-in hybrid, offering a very nice and convenient storage option right here in this specific area, providing ample space. Where the little herd bag fits, where the interior noise meter fits, because later on, we want to measure the interior noises with you. And so, essentially, you've now got tons of storage space available and this high. Step doesn't really seem to bother the driver's legs either at all. Yes, where Great Wall Motors has truly paid meticulous attention to details with the WEY 05 is notably with the comfortable seats. They somewhat remind me of the innovative design philosophy from the VW Group, but evil be to him who thinks evil thoughts. After all, there aren't that many seat manufacturers, but for WEY, highly customized. You notice this once again with the check pattern, beautifully embodied in Alcantara, in the lacquered version, the center as well. Perforated Alcantara, very, very rare, not even available at Porsche at an extra charge. Here, you have the convenient option to extend the seat area for those individuals with longer legs accordingly. Nice, substantial support here in the lumbar area, and similarly, exceptional support found here in the thigh area too. We have shoulder pads that provide support for the shoulders as well. Again, a lovely mix of perforated and the checkered pattern and the partially integrated headrest, which unfortunately you can only adjust in height. Here, the comfort feature would be desirable again to maybe also push it forward once more. But you can't have everything, Stefan, can you?
Sadly no, but there's quite a bit in here already.
And if you look here again, this too is covered with a kind of faux leather, which has a bit of brown piping on the anthracite. It's simply love for detail, right down to the glove compartment. Nice and big, lined with felt, not just any, what do they call it? Oh yes.
Plastic?
Exactly. I must say, WEY is truly taking a quite premium route there, something we've always sincerely or fervently wished for eagerly from German manufacturers, even if subtly or indirectly, somehow. This is now coming to us from China. So, thumbs up. Whoever opts for such a large SUV with a length of 4.87 meters also wants to have space in the back. I am exactly 1.85 meters tall, weigh precisely 99.9 kilograms, and today we are here testing the entry and the available space in the back. The perspective observed through the rear door indeed also reveals these quite generous and comfortable space conditions, doesn't it? Yeah.
That's mega roomy, right?
The seat always is precisely adjusted to align with the B pillar on the passenger side. But you see, my seat is actually pushed all the way back, all the way down. Normally it's always positioned mega far back here. Actually, it's not even here right now, you see. So I must say, this is quite very stylish and really quite impressive, isn't it truly? Brilliant solution. In the luxury version, you've got these beautiful shutters back here too. Somewhat like a sun and privacy barrier. Really interesting, particularly when journeying with children. Speaking of kids, we've got two children here, driver and passenger side. Isofix anchors, nice. Look here, Stefan, underneath this flap. Easily accessible, easily operable, and also easy to close again. Not some sort of ice lock that almost breaks your fingernails when you use it. The only point of criticism here, I stand by it, is the too short center armrest at the back. First of all, it's really nice that we actually have one, but due to the third headrest, I would have wished for it to be somewhat longer here because, as you can see, due to my stature, I'm already pretty much at the very end of the center armrest. Optionally, if needed, you can also use the beverage cup holders right here. Can be folded out. Here, perhaps a small tablet holder might have found its place, possibly serving as a thoughtful idea for consideration in a future model update, enhancing user convenience. And back here we have a USB-A and USB-C port, a small compartment where you could also put paper or other things. We've also got ventilation back here, very, very effective for adequately air conditioning and heating the rear. Yes, indeed, the rear perspective of the seats, it precisely divides into two distinct halves. On one hand here, very, very nice, the way the faux leather is. Here we have some plastic, but it's sort of softly padded, not just hard plastic. Then there's this particular mesh here, which I'm really not so keen on, but it's surely a matter of personal taste, wouldn't you say? And look, Stefan, we barely have a hump here, like a drive shaft tunnel. It's all quite flat, and probably you can indeed comfortably sit three abreast for a short distance in this particular area without any issues. What's the use of all the beautiful exterior and interior if it doesn't drive excellently? And whether it does the way 05, we want to find out now with you. Let's move on to the driving report. Come along, we're about to start with the WEY 05. When you have a large SUV measuring 4.87 meters in length, then it's also important to have a good turning radius. I must say the WEY 05 falls right in the middle. Unfortunately, we were not successful in finding the precise turning radius. I'd estimate it to be roughly between 12 and 13 meters. If you happen to know the exact figure, please feel free to drop it in the comments. I'm actually navigating quite efficiently around Stefan quite decently here now, assuming that the car in question measures exactly 4.87 meters in length. What's deemed equally vital, if not more so, as the turning circle, of course, is the ability to park such a seemingly vast vehicle conveniently. Particularly, the luxury variant comes with a reversing assistant on board, which, under current circumstances, we don't necessarily need to use right at this moment, but unfortunately, I haven't driven quite far enough, indicating we need to make a slight adjustment here. But as I see it now, we have exceptionally good support from the 360-degree camera system, aiding significantly in our efforts, which is also displayed quite large here. Indeed, has a decent resolution, and where you can use a variety of different camera settings around the car, offering flexibility and enhanced visibility for the driver. Here we also have the interesting option of making the vehicle's floor completely transparent. That means there's also a camera that essentially films along underneath the car. That, I truly believe, is especially important for those individuals who might just also wish to utilize the car for off-road adventures. You have the ability to seamlessly switch between 2D and 3D, allowing you the flexibility to always use your preferred setting accordingly, depending on the specific terrain and your current navigational needs. So, there are actually quite a few different ways to effectively utilize this, all the way up to intelligent parking systems, where the car can even find a parking spot and parks all by itself. But that always takes a bit too long for me, Stefan, doesn't it?
Yes, especially until you finally recognize the parking spot. By then you've already passed it and then have to go back. Yes, not that simple.
Yes, what he really enjoys doing now and then very much is to manually turn on an internal combustion engine, even though I actually had it set to fully EV mode here indeed. I'm really not quite sure why he did that. Oh, I know. I bumped into the elevator controls here manually too. And then, of course, he thought things were really getting serious here and switched to sport mode because naturally he wanted to unleash those 476 horsepower. Yes.
Then he'll show his skills.
We begin with a short introduction video presented to set the context. Whenever he becomes noticeably stubborn, he eventually switches to EV mode, emphasizing eco-conscious choices. Sometimes he needs to turn it off, turn it back on, and then start in EV mode to drive purely electric, which is what we want to do. And here, walking on these uneven cobblestones, it surprisingly makes quite a pleasant, gentle, and soothing sounds. It functions in a manner that is very, very efficiently orchestrated, and I firmly believe, taking everything into account, it truly speaks volumes for what can only be described as a quite remarkably decent suspension system. It features individual wheel suspension with McPherson struts. Here, I might have wished, and we'll find this out later, whether an optional air suspension or an adaptive suspension system would have been brilliant, Stefan.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Some SUVs truly feel like very affectionate, gently rocking ships, do they not? Indeed, we have gotten ourselves two powerful electric motors, so we are able to start off quite briskly and energetically, and that is precisely what it does without fail. I must certainly say 163 horsepower located on the front axle plus 184 horsepower on the rear axle, being purely electric, is indeed quite substantial indeed. And now though, I must have somehow probably floored it all the way to the kickdown. Yes, now we really must start this engine. It's completely necessary. We simply cannot return to EV mode at this present time. I honestly do not grasp the reason why. That means we practically have to stop now, really. I will show you live in the editing process so that you can see you always learn absolutely everything with us. Nothing is glossed over in this case. Now we need to turn it back on. Now we're switching to EV. And now we can turn on the drive mode selector and continue purely in EV mode. Seems a bit complex, doesn't it?
Yeah, really bad. What's this?
We are currently on our usual test track and we're swiftly navigating a very sharp curve right at this point. He performs that task very, very efficiently. We had already presented it to you right at the commencement of the world premiere in Europe, in Rome, and provided you with our initial impressions in an introductory video. But here in our country on the German road, what I promised you back then, that's where he truly shows his colors. And here, in this particular case, the system is engineered to be exceptionally soft and quite comfortable, which naturally contributes significantly to the overall driving comfort experience. But on the other hand, this aspect might somewhat counteract or impede a driving style that's more focused on performance and agility. Here, I would have wished for at least adaptive dampers, so that as drivers, we could adjust at least 2 levels, comfortable and sporty, or ideally even 3 levels, if we ever want to travel very briskly. I genuinely do not want to say it's floaty, goodness no, it's certainly not, but you can quite clearly feel, you truly sense here just a little bit of the steering movement and the noticeable body roll, which might come as a surprise to some. Because it surely doesn't possess the advanced roll stabilization feature within this specific price range yet, just as we can clearly see, for instance, in the renowned Porsche Cayenne model. And of course, the adaptive dampers are truly brilliant, incredibly efficient, or alternatively an air suspension system that could also be perfectly controlled accordingly. We really want to perform a little launch event with you guys. Of course, I warmed up the engine quite properly beforehand and have now set it to sport mode, so hopefully it now has maximum power. Stefan, give us a countdown. 3,
2, 1, go!
and off he goes, rapidly accelerating 30, 40, 50, 70, 80, up to 900. At 645, it's evident we have remarkable value even under less ideal conditions. We're not on warm tires or level ground, but in the variable outskirts. Our testing process, always grounded in practicality, assesses real-world scenarios. Testing the suspension in sport mode more rigorously reveals its softness and tendency to push over the front wheel when encountering uneven terrain and bumps. This demonstrates its adaptability and capability in handling diverse driving conditions effectively. But what's equally important to remember, Stefan, is that we do that too. No one's directly behind us, and there he goes, pressing hard on the brakes. That might have been approximately around about 35 meters, give or take a little. We're gearing up to launch out once again, quite soon. He's very, very agile there as well, perhaps just a bit sluggish for the initial first 20 kilometers per hour, but picks up quickly afterwards. I would really wish for just a little more punch with those 846 Newton meters of total system torque, honestly. But you do realize that you've got a very, very powerful and performance sporty SUV, which truly brings immense joy, don't you think, Stefan?
Absolutely.
Just imagine, if it had highly intelligent adaptive dampers, it would indeed be a true beast, right?
Absolutely.
But it's far more elegant and graceful to simply glide quietly, purely electric, enjoying the serene beauty of nature, not rushing but just leisurely taking in the tranquility.
Seien Sie nicht geistesabwesend.
There's Stefan, but that's not me. Yes, that's where you also get maximum support here at WEY 05, just as the EU desires for new vehicles. And we have here at the A-pillar likewise a corresponding monitoring of our eyes. That means if I look into the camera, it naturally thinks I'm distracted. If surveillance in your vehicle feels overly intrusive, surpassing comfort, you can disable the monitoring system. Additionally, for customized driving support, activating lane assistance for improved safety and convenience is available. Then naturally to receive the absolute maximum level of support accordingly from them. So, the Infinity sound system is pretty awesome, right?
It's not the worst.
Especially in the highest points, it's so very clean, very clear and distinct.
Yes, it's a nice resonating space too.
Take a moment to experience Google Maps running through Apple CarPlay Wireless, showcased on a remarkably cool, really big and impressive 15-inch screen. It's pretty awesome and quite amazing, don't you think?
On such a big one?
Big fat screen. I really wanted to sprinkle in a bit of English because, as it turns out, we're finally perfectly audible in English too, thanks to double AI technology. What are your thoughts on that, Stefan?
Awesome.
Exactly, and right here you have the option naturally to seamlessly integrate Apple CarPlay into the display, making full use of all its functionalities. What genuinely excites me about WEY and this innovative plug-in hybrid is how, at long last, they have finally managed to intelligently combine the two concepts, the world of combustion engines with the electric world. Why? Because in essence, we have two electric motors driving each axle, completely independent of the combustion engine and its 9-speed transmission. By the way, a 55-liter fuel tank exists for those enthusiasts wanting to know that in the technical details. And I think that's just brilliant because it allows us to clearly separate these worlds when we want to drive purely electric, just like now. Then we also have great power at our disposal. As mentioned, with a 163 horsepower front motor plus a 184 horsepower rear motor. Thus, when combined together, it's roughly around 300 horsepower, right, Stefan? It is simply, and I believe that's precisely where the peak torque originates from as well. So I'd guess purely electric, about 500 Newton meters of torque, that should be it. This means it's actually quite really enjoyable driving electrically with this, well, not even that substantial light SUV, you see?
I think so too, yes. So, as I said, it also carries quite a bit of weight around.
Is that the right question already? What is this? To us.
No, I really think we all got the point, honestly.
I went back and reviewed the specification sheet once more.
Yes, 2.4 tons, right?
244 in the luxury.
Look, and then we have the heavy camera head.
Well, plus the two of us, we're almost hitting the maximum allowed total weight, 2.7 tons, right?
Yeah, not much room for extra load.
That really surprised me too. Well, the driver's included, I think, at 75 kilograms. That suits me for 3/4 exactly. But then there's not too much space left at the top.
No, I'd say, for a family of 4, with bags in the back, you're at the maximum, I believe.
So discussing a trailer, right?
It's probably best.
Right? Or perhaps a roof box. Naturally, we do indeed also have on board the absolute most advanced and cutting-edge driver assistance systems available in the semi-autonomous sector. That means the advanced steering assist, lane keeping assist, the sophisticated emergency brake function, the adaptive cruise control system, and a plethora of other intricate details, which will most definitely be further refined through many more future software updates. I found him somewhat stilted, rather uncomfortable in Rome. I guess you might possibly say that. Wouldn't you agree, Stefan? Yes, indeed. I must express with true sincerity my desire for the impactful aspect of exerting control over outcomes, especially the anticipatory analysis and planning for 2024, along with the ability to discern, interpret, and apply insights from a comprehensive collection of knowledge, allowing for an informed approach to the future. Then adjust the driving speed accordingly. Because in the end, a WEY 05 surely aims to effectively and confidently compete with German premium manufacturers, making a statement. And they all surely have the capability to do this nowadays, although I am well aware from talks with many of you that you really don't find any joy in driving vehicles semi-autonomously. I'd also really love to hear your detailed feedback on this in the comments, please. Is this particular semi-autonomous feature actually truly essential for you to have in your vehicle? Or perhaps do you say, no, I actually quite prefer to drive manually. I don't really feel the need for all those bells and whistles. I just earnestly want to continue being this self-made independent driver? Let's proceed to examine the interior sounds as we are driving at 30 mph. 58, 59, 60 decibels, that's genuinely and truly an excellent value. We are now accelerating quickly to 45 mph. 62, 63 decibels, that's indeed an excellently great value. Comparatively speaking, a VW ID3 has 61 decibels at 30 mph and even reaches up to 70 decibels at a speed of 45 mph. So, the WEY 05 is extremely quiet, and of course we also want to find out how quiet or loud it is at 60 mph. We have now accelerated up to 60 miles per hour. 65, 67, 69 decibels are good. The ID3 model is performing in the mid to high 70s, which is quite impressive. All this contributes to creating a very, very appealing and harmonious noise atmosphere. It's actually really important because when we're driving purely electric, we definitely want to also enjoy this profound tranquility too. Who could potentially find the WEY 05 quite interesting or even perfect? Car? For all of those, I believe, who might still be hesitating to switch completely to electric because they may desire to cover longer distances in a single journey and therefore might prefer to stick with hybrid or utilize a combustion engine for mobility. We have to accept that, even as electric vehicle enthusiasts, that's also what we're all about on this channel. Yes, indeed, our campaign supports electric vehicles adoption, showing for many the average commute is under 30 kilometers. This allows vehicles to last an entire work week, 5 days, without recharging. We stress the eco-friendly benefits. Choosing them over gasoline counterparts cuts emissions, aiding urban air quality. This aligns with environmental goals for a cleaner future. Because WEY states it with a range of 158 kilometers purely on electric power. We plan to verify that in the second video to see if it's really the case, and if so, then we actually have had a unique hybrid car that can still operate on combustion fuel.
Yes, absolutely. Just like you said, the commutes are perfect. So if you ever want to go long distance, you still have option A, the hybrid mode, and the combustion engines.
For field service team backbones worldwide. Our next video showcases a large battery with nearly 40 kilowatt hours capacity, enhancing long distance travel. Operating in eco-friendly hybrid mode, this approach transforms field tasks and reduces environmental impact, making it essential for those seeking to improve efficiency and sustainability. Always drive either partially electrically or with some electric support, and maybe significantly reduce the vehicle's consumption, right?
I'm definitely excited.
Let's proceed to the interesting interim conclusion with our WEY 05. And truthfully, I must say, I am genuinely and really pleasantly surprised by Rome for yet another second time. Why? It's because we are indeed receiving a truly remarkably high-quality vehicle here, both from the exterior and, of course, especially from the interior, which unquestionably could also see some significant and far-reaching improvement potential, as we've meticulously noticed in the suspension mechanism. That is how we always strive, with intent, to be constructively critical here at Simply Electric. The overall package, I believe, is coherent, especially in terms of value for money, Stefan?
Absolutely.
Starting price under 60,000 euros, with all due respect to every euro for such a car at 487 meters, and with this plug-in hybrid technology, I believe it's price attractive. especially when combined with the luxury version where we get this all-inclusive package. Plus perhaps, and with a metallic exterior color, we're looking at about 64,000 euros. In that case, within the competitive environment, you're turning to the German premium manufacturers who tend to have a 7 or an 8 in front of that number. We have to be honest about that. And there, I believe the WEY 05 could be extremely appealing, not just for businesses, but also for individuals who use such a large car. 2 tons of towing capacity and 500 liters of trunk volume really are all absolutely fantastic figures. Where I feel a touch disappointed is actually with the permissible total weight, because it sort of signifies a slight reduction since we would have supposedly this marginally lower payload.
Yes, there's still some room for improvement.
Overall, I truly believe it's definitely a car that is worth looking into. That's exactly what we're planning to do in the next video, where we aim to test the pure electric range with you, where we're going to assess the DC fast charging speed, and where we also intend to take a mixed drive, with 1/3 being on the highway, city traffic, and rural areas to see how the electric range evolves. So a second exciting video is coming up, and I believe the third video will interest all long-distance drivers, where we'll drive in hybrid mode and let the car take over. Where it runs electric, where it runs on combustion, where it runs hybrid, just to see where do we stand with consumption figures when we take a pee break, when we take a lunch break on a long journey. Then of course we also always try to find a charging station where we can recharge with up to 50 kW via DC. So I truly believe it's super exciting what's still ahead for us with the amazing WEY 05 project. And with that, we have reached the very end of today's video presentation. We truly hope you enjoyed watching it. You quite certainly had a lot of fun with the WEY 05, and please do feel free to check again if you're part of the Simply Electric community. We'd appreciate your support with a subscription again, and then you won't miss the next 2 videos featuring the WEY 05. Feel free to support our English channel as well, named Simply Electric. There's a link for that in the video description too. We thank you for watching, stay healthy, and see you soon. Yours truly, Ollie. You know, Stefan, this Formula Racing inspired third brake light, I actually find it quite clever indeed. That's good. You know what's totally unacceptable? What those are, the remarkably thick, really extraordinarily fat fish rivers?
They just can't do without, somehow.